That's quite it's gonna go with skin and that kitchen. Aamu ka chaku tapi man. Ne chikki one. And still Mookie Mystics. That's time they say. You do that to boy at me, next 6 week, what he have stop. It's okay, me 6 kids, but I got some more. Oh, to keep it push trees, you do the rules. Okay. Ja, gets in die kartochpak nog aan de stocht. Niet nog zeeuw te uitkennen. Maar dat wacht, ze mag van je wanneer stap ik speel. En no. Oké. Dus dat gaan dat iets dat je met dat stukje de kamer mag gaan is dus gedacht in de gooi zoeken. Ik go zeg ze me. Wie ga je zien dat je 제가 하나 니츠 신네 비나 비박스 언니 또야 제니까 또 미스터는 막 니사 시기 시지 아 비슷하네 오빠 여기지 아빠 거기 한뭐 길이 길이제 Tapi mana? Oh, cookie dan nik. Cookie dan nik. Well, ne bistuak. Okay, six the be bistakan is ba. Is ba. En de stap is bistakan is Spijsje staat toch België. En dan ga deze staat toch weer. Achter je, hoe is de beat meer? Dus dat gaan we nog waar. Hoe gaan we? Is zo. Ja, ik zie niet. Dus dat gaan we niet stukje. Haak zei. Het kunnen maar stukjes. Hoe zo aaks, hoe zo, maar is het dat piep. Hoe moaks, hoe man aaks. Oh, kijk dat je nee piochsa, dat is het zat mooi. Maar het zo kom maar skes maar. Skes zo goed iets dat doen ja. Dat toch wel, dan gaat bochtje. Dan gaat bochtje schokjes mooi. En dat zou bochtjes toch wat toepie. Ik zei, kijk maar toch. Oh, ja, maar en dan is dat iets dan. Okay. This print has got four corners on it. And this was for the memory of this teaching and this site. Comes from this the Bikani school teachers, staff, and the students. I'm gonna tell some of the doings of Chaco, the way I understand it, eh? It's there's some of it that's, some would say it's very cruel, and if you just slowly run your mind through it, it's a big handful of love. And I'll just go ahead and let you put your flagging up west side of this site, and I wish I knew a song to sing. My songs are not really good. I'm not a bundle holder, so we'll just follow what, how they, yeah.
Do I just tie it like this then?
You see, well, as long as it's hanging, yeah, and tight so it doesn't just wind take it away, huh?
Okay.
Find yourself a
closer
limb
in,
that's
closer in or out?
well, just take your judgment,
Okay.
yeah. And let the spirit that is we using this what the stories are from the older people, and it wasn't recorded, so we're trying to get a handle on it and keep it for future. That this man, I've been asked to this man if he was a hero, and in ways, yes, he was a hero. He's a bear. That bear claw, they were really respected. And Chaco was what? Of the stories, not me that I knew it. I'm just what I hear the story. And that person that grabs a flying knife to save his life, he was honored with that bravery. This man. Yeah. Chaco, I don't start it down on the old agency. There was a village there. It was, for what I heard, was I'm telling it, I'm passing it on, is that there was the school. Well, you could see the showings of how it was, and the missionaries made their way from the boats west, and RCMP, the British, and lots of our lives were destroyed from their from the guys that got off them boats and came west. A lot of times we think they shouldn't have interrupted with our life, but it's just the way. That's the way it is. It formed like this, and okay, Chaco was had 3 wives, and his mother. That's where they spent time. I don't know how much time they spent here, but it sounds quite a bit. And the, the, this guy that was trying to take over Chaco's one of his women, and Chaco, I guess he the story goes he warned that person, you leave my wife alone, my partner. You just try it again, and I'm gonna kill you. He, that's what they heard. So he did. He ended up and he killed him, and so that's when I guess he had to come out, run for murder. He murdered the guy, and well, the way it goes, some people think it's like he was there were still them wars in them times. Like he got that bravery from that bear claw or whatever it is. Catch that knife flying just by grabbing it like that, squeezing that blade. He was honored for his bravery on that. And he was known. And then warriors they know of these kind of persons with that bravery. That's what in the stories I've heard about Chaco. And And some think it's real cruel. This is the way they say. Taco, he didn't stay out here and just starved and made love to his wives. He loved them, I guess, and provided for them. And to do that, I guess he went and he hunted. He must have came and he must have had enough meat. And in them days, there was no money flow. Your horses were the cash. Man with horses was a wealthy man. And blankets, material blankets. And then Chaco would provide his mother, these women, 4 women, food. Didn't just come out and starve. So I guess they cured that meat, and there's a lot of ways of curing meat. They smoke it, and we were just looking at the budding of the berries, or just beginning berry season. They dried the berries with meat. Well, how to dry the berries? Well, if you catch this tree and you take the bark, for instance, one of those trees, if you took the bark out, the bark is it's soft, and it must be, and you hold it down with rocks, and it'll come out as a table flat. And the berries are on top of there, and the sun cures them, dries them. Today, these modern women that still dry berries, they use a screen, throw the berries on top, and another screen to keep this insect flies away. Well, we didn't have screen way back. Okay, and then probably if you went down a little further, you might see flat rocks. Maybe that's where they dried their berries, on a flat rock. And the meat around here, elk, moose, Chaco got, he made some pemmican, I guess, maybe. Oh, he had to feed the 4 women. But he didn't want to lose them if they were wandering around down into the village, down at the old agency that was on the north side of the river, where the old school was. So what he did, he tied them, I guess. He tied that's the story. He tied their hands together and their legs. And he'd safely feel like if he had to go hunt and undo them again when he comes back. I don't think he was treating them that way. This was love he did that for, because he wanted to keep that. He loved his mother and he loved his wives. He didn't want that guy, that intruder, to break up his 3 loving wives and his mother. He didn't leave them back when he was running from the murder case. If you think about it, if he would have left back, maybe he would have just picked one of the, maybe, well, I don't know. I don't think he took any of them for one is better than the other one, or better than that one. He loved them all. That's why he brought them here. and he supported them. He used to bring the meat, the dry meat, maybe that pemmican he picked here, all picked, and he'd show up at the clan in that little village. He would go to them and Chaco would come and he had all that nice cured meat. And he asks for bullets. Everybody used 30-30s in them days. That's what I hear. 30-30. Well, I'll give you some shout so I could bring some more of this meat, this pemmican. Berries. So all these women must have fixed it up and cured it. Well, I need some tea. I need some tobacco, some sugar. That's what the ration was. Comes from there. And he'd come back and he'd say, I guess that would be, I hear these stories from old timers. I guess it's scratch up, you. So he continued like that, and there's always somebody in the crowd, the same as it came in the Bible time too. In the Lord's Supper, that came from there. It's a European story. And what you call turn on Jesus too. Well, somebody turned on Chaco at the Chaco was over in the nighttime. He was around. He was trading stuff for meat. He was here that night. And that word got out to the RCMP. And he was on they wanted him. He was a wanted man. So, then nobody could, they say, like, well, one story I heard was from my grandparents were just kids at the time. And the freighter that had my grandfather's kids, or my grandfather's parents, there was 3 boys and there was a girl. Okay, these 3 boys would speak three languages. He spoke the French, because that man was a Frenchman, the squaw man. The one that married a pretty bird woman. That was my great-great-grandmother. And the Frenchman was Pete Provo. There was, from that time on, there was another Pete Provo, went overseas to fight World War I, didn't return. And it came on this side, and with another Pete Provo. There's one of his grandkids right there. Okay. When they were when the police hear those stories, Jocko was here and they asked these interpreters, what is he saying? And they couldn't get, they want Jocko pretty bad. Well, he's in for murder and we're gonna arrest him. So, one day there was a little gathering on the, well, there's no streets in them days, maybe, I guess, around whatever the administration was. Okay, then the RCMP pulled up to that little gathering. and they yell out. Everybody wants to see what they want, and they stop and they look. So they asked him, he said, where's those kids that speak 3 languages? And then, people looking for, somebody must be looking for interpreters. My grandfather's brother was the older one, Charlie. Yeah, that's us. Getting a Democrat. A Democrat is a small moving in between a big wagon and a buggy. The Democrat. It's enough room in the back for carrying stuff. Okay, it's driven by team, so they got in and they went around to the settlements of the people. And they told them, tell these people if they help Chaco, they're gonna go to jail first. Everybody didn't want to go to jail. They didn't like that treatment in the jail. Threatened them all. And so I guess they warned him, no, we can't help you, we're going to go to jail too. Well, I guess maybe that was time. He couldn't live like that. And maybe, I don't forget what time of day. So, in his plans, well, I guess I'll go across the border. And so he let the women go. Maybe he brought them out. And he started to go and just head south along the foothills that way, towards Pincher Creek, that area. Okay, the site of where he killed Sergeant Wright is just out of Pincher Creek. The way I hear stories, he must have left from here. He let go the women, his wives, for them. And they got met and they said, oh, Chacos, where are you? We got to turn them in. There's another native that is well known for his horses, real fast horses. I guess powerful, fast, they're undefeated. The guy's name was Jack Spear. He comes into the story because of his horses was fast and they never got defeated in races. Because them days they used to do a lot of racing. That was the gambling dollar. And how it happened, I guess, as he was going down this way, and the women told him, well, he's heading for Montana. He was heading that direction. So these guys that were told, well, run after him. Keep right up with him, and the RCMP are coming. Jack Spear said he caught him 3 times. His horse ran right up to Chaco. He said, but I'm scared of him. He's riding with his rifle pointing just across the top of him. Yeah, I guess he whips his horses, and horse wasn't doing much of a movement. But Jack Spear said, I got scared of him. I don't want to get murdered or get shot. He's in shooting range. He'll just get me. So he turns back to give them an information where he's heading, where he's up to. Then the RCMP come when the Indian scout was with the RCMP. Of course, he talks Blackfoot. And he told, I guess, Jack Spear doesn't speak English the way it looks. And he was talking to that Indian scout, and the Indian scout said, well, lend me a horse just to arrest him so I can catch up to him. Okay. You know, I'm going to put my saddle on them. And so when they were on changing saddles, Sergeant Wright says, well, what's going on? Why are you on? No, I borrowed Jack's horse. It's pretty powerful, fast. I'll just catch up to Saco. So Sergeant Wright says, I want to arrest him. I'll take the fast horse. So he got the fast horse and he did catch up to Chaco. Just out of Pinch Creek, there's a sign. That's where he killed Sergeant Wright. Okay, from there on, there's a lot of stories in this. How he got arrested, how it happened to him. But he ended up in McLeod and they hung him. So, I guess he was hitting, he took the fast horse from the murdered RCMP, Sergeant Wright, and he took his handgun and the fast horse, and then he continued his trip. Oh, he must have been worn out, and he was hungry. So he was from the blood reserve. So that's the stories go. Blood reserve. That's where his relations are. That I met here. I brought him here. They say I'm related like this and that. And most of it goes out. Yeah, that must be the way it goes. Because I brought a lot of people here since I was a kid. When I seen this site with my dad, when I first seen it, it was out. You almost go in there and shelter out a storm at night or anything in that. It was still of that in that shape. But now it's over 100 and almost 200 years ago. Or is it 200? No, just about. But anyway, I've been bringing people that have asked, how can we get in all this? I said, my family, I tell him to bring you there. Oh, okay. That's how not in the late 60s. This was logged and that road came in. That's when you were able to come this way. But I heard a lot of stories. And there's a lot of stories about when they arrested him and how he, and some of the stories from the white men. They say they had a scuffle with him and like shooting at each other around the Waterton area. That I don't know much about it, but again, the white man they write down the stories. Us, we didn't. Our language is hard to write and to speak it, to learn how to speak it. There's a real difficult in it, and I wanted to say it in Blackfoot too, because you guys might be able to pick up some Blackfoot and I'll tell it. And anyway, the story goes again, when he put down that RCMP and he turned to the blood reserve, to his relations, and I'll tell you one of them where he arrested. He pulled up to his relations and he said, come to, I want to get a meal and I'll continue. I'm going south. Everything's okay. The women, mother's gone to over here, and the women are. I'm just gonna go south. I'm in wrong. So everybody was prepared. They were expecting him to show up. And these relations, they're drills how to do it. There's one story says this guy his wife was very heavy built woman, and how they want to feed him when he comes, and that woman will, when they feed him again, just keep an eye, and for her to jump on top of Chaco and pin him down, and everybody will jump in and tie him. We'll do it that way. That's the one story. And one story is when he came up and they fed him, he was hungry, and they heard the dogs bark, and Chaco knew how many of them was in that family. And he told them, "You guys turned me in, eh?" And just then they hear when the dogs barked, they heard the harness of the horses and the way the Democrat pulled up for the RCMP. I guess Chaco, the one story says he slashed his wrists. Anyway, the RCMP jumped in there and they put tourniquets. They put him in a Democrat and took him to McLeod, and then he got. Well, they hung him after anyway. But that's one of the stories, eh? And they got that's and you got to pick Bukawak. Kiana kay eskinimat tukik. How kay kibalbi sunonik. Tibadami matupi doch that's and you got to kikin in an stock to make me wix. Escam me away. Kistruna Xinax Enoxic. It's a crimstatuk. Utakumim sax. Me seen it me. Utain komokisk. Seen it. Mix you takumim sax. Mara can eat Uxpa Muxi. Kemanix. Kemanix. Mara can eat up. Anits in Otokipinan. Can skach seen it. I haven't seen scotch. Okay. Kijk zo, kijk zo weer wat zippie werkt. Anyway, de ekste communiteit papia. Ook je wilt schakel met me gezegd, kerst maar boy, ik ski. Maar mocht je zich graag zien, toch kan me door toch helemaal niks. Zeg dat. Ik zeg ik zie. Ik ga het zijn ik te biwaak ja. En ik zei. Dat is sap. Nog een tooi kijk. Ja, ik ken ik. Ik ga. Mocht je mistak je poestiks. Ken ik zei. Goga pet is dat je ook. Mag je dit dan is de bak. Hier zijn we schipjes die ook. Ken je ook. Wel, kijk ik zie. Je tako me mag zeggen, wat is het maar niet, mag kan niet, niet ik botox. Ook iets kaas op hoogte is ook. Niks pomja piconia, niks ach stakkia mox snacks is die daar bij. Niet dat bij man is te bad bij. Kinitsudo, today waste the matter. The rocket sagan is knichbar. Gebucht, again an ist doch sich, wenn. Zitoanik, ja. Abuch. Is he a hero Agi needs the bigo, actually. Just was to name Nachanistan is the come on, subsidy. Kikri ikra tamuanistri kitapi. Niskai kanuka, Niska Uto, Taki, Kanu, the kicks is to it's ska. It isn't ska, Simua. It's ikitapi. Can then nog aan het staat zien. Dus toen niks zei. Het is niet dat we niet kunnen staan op de stapels. Ik mis die daar op dat bikskima. Knisa mi de bomi. Kan nog goed soepwa te matska. Wat zeg ik de gewoon nog gooi ja kamo. Goed dat kom hem gezegd, sinds ik zo kan niet te boeten. Nee, is schaat, kak. Kennis kai niet daar zo bocht is ik wel, kakao is zo bocht is ik dus. Kennis ga nog soms als ik aan die ayaki toch op kikrimstan no, aku ga pikrimsto. Nu ook skamen ook kema niks. Skai iets niet kan zie ik zie geskocht. Hoe dit skakai me ook kema no. Ken je niet zo bad bio? Genoeg ik me ook op toe. Tka. Essa mania aksne ook skama kit kema en mara goed hoe dit skakai maak ze. Ken je niet zo bad bio? Mocht dan is zich baby. Ja, ga goed niet aan kan. Udah goed is wagi. Kya kiksi de. Kya goed gedood is kakaim. Het is niet. Nama kiks. Het is leuk soms staat ook. Oh, niks is gemaakt kiks. Ik kitsta ja. Mok ik kitsta. Maar zeg maar weer die kitsta. Die maat wat ze nou niet wat op aan is. Het wapis. Gooi niet maar pies. Ken je nagago ze? Ze nee pjoch ze. Ze kitsta. Dat zo kwam ik ze. Het is niet maar kiks. Dat is die tomoya man stukak. Man sta ik toch bij. Man sta wees te wat zeg bij boeka. Is to me het is niet maar zo goed. Is je ze. Wat goed te zien ga sopa. Ken je nou een stripate bij me? Nog daar puina zo toko mooi niks in staan. Het zwak ze bij. Soms ze. Het dat daar skif in Simpson. Ik zie me beetje niks goed. Ken maar nog goed te zien ga sopa naar een stripate. Ken je dan is straks stibi. Dat is knap stibi. Dat ook snip. Ik ga boeten en dan gaan staan boeten. Maar dat goed te dag en al sopa. Die sopa je dat is nou kieuws. Maar dan is het wel. Dat was het wat stoep en ik mix die dag zo goed en ik zie als knap niks. Dat was het wat stoep. Wat is toch wel niet zeepels. Ken je nog ken je toch gestiet? Ja, maar dat goed. De sinaks en ik me ook straks niet. Maar dat heb je ook te weten. Kan je nog ze te stoken ik. Nog iets zeepels. Ken je de nog graspons? Okay, kenne nachher kyoku enya ana. Shiganiste. Itzinik. Kenne noch ikako itzinik sis. Igawa sta pukawak. Sekte. Vestu nibaniska babu itzinik. Kenne nachher ganiste itzinik. Anya. It's good for now, eh? Annisko kina nis kamena nis puno komida isknaka niks kinnigiga stoa kui aniska chaku ka asmo tsi nis chaku Jack Spirit and diksi sima kitupiu na maxiux ka anistu to takuks stoa ka simi niksi doa sen go tumaka Kensko kunaka ama napin nakikon kima Indian scout Yanistua my needs to be nakikon in me Jack Spirit and is okay genne hoch tumakara chaku tsitsita that's niku Machanistuma. No, Kuta Sasko, it's Kumata Dadafsti, Skunadafti, Sky 8 seat for you. But now being the Kikun, how up beacon. Aqua, Miagaki, me. A Kamina is sick in it. Himaya, Tamstima. He don't want people, man. Not being the people, so I can't be more. And if you come out at the comedians, sicky me. Look at it down. That's going to talk to him on the bomb. The rock sits down. Chaco, man, that's smooth city, like, that's an ace in me. Not being a key, that's it. Duck, just get free. Duck, I'll take that force. I want to make that arrest. Now, straight about. Swaki to me. Yeah, by Aki, Wie Hochflugskreisliga. Nur speziell. Kachamina nisk. Nachjaku nisk. Ochtawako. Ma innegi kanska kumasika kaapus skuinisk. Oot pukuks simi jaku. Kätsini kassigira. Maat snee. Kitupi säkin mei stiimeksen naama. Mä ennenkin kun puhuttiin tukkasin. Mä syliksi. En nohpatis tuomaan naapin. Sakua. Ets tässä on siinäkin naamassa. Mä kai kun on mitään idäpsis kun edä. Se ei tapahtumaan minun tuokat. Kik moi dagida suohtu. Manas kun edä pihpi niin sitä piwa ikaikat suusku. Kuhtas kun edä suukkitat suusku. Kitukko. Andoka Jack Spirit it's pummo. Me it's steepis katu. uutaassiksi. Tukintstaatis. Sikstääräkaassi miksi mä oon suuta. Utsiitaanis. Niin tuotsumuiskaan naaktis kohta, kun mä raaksakin itse. Akan jo viitääkä, mutta akumatskahtuuma muu. Aksamukka nää. Tuotsumuiskaan nää tuopsiua. Aksiukaniksi stoutu tämä siua, niin kuin kohtsit skeipi. Onkaitsiniks siuhti. Onkaitsin. Tässä me punukaan jääks piruutaasiksi. Tässä me. Sekin me maatitsin nääpuja. Kiekaksi me. Kyllä se me puhsavaa päässiuakin. Kitukskaassuus. En ole krahkaan. Ima ajattanut. Sikkimi. Ummakaa venä. Ummakauksikaas. Ei keitsinukskaas siis. Aakse voi mikit kitumatista patakka. Mä oon se kaksaa. Semmoisessa itäisestä patakka ei vittu. Iskskaaksin eikä stukskaasi. Ei täkstuskaasi. Eikä kuutsepstukskaasi. Täpstukskaasuupi. Istyypiskaasi. Stuutsiipiskaasi. Aina kannakkaaksemme miksi mistyksi. Tukska me pukkit patskoa me kitspässivi. Missä se vaan vitsikukskas pimaasikin. Jokin mis muut pohpatsi siis. Just takaisin muuk. Uukin. No, inaksikin mä itse tuksi. No, kaikki tukki. Nähsit sinikatu. Näkis kohta, kun mä oon niitä aikaa tunne otat suiskaan. Mie oon tapatsin mai, kun on kahdaisit seitsini puukin. Sohvista putiitsikaasi. Oikein tässä koskas, niin miisaa juhti. Kinaa piitä vipjahpi kun kaudaiski. Mä oon huiskaassa tuohon. Miitsinska mi kun kaudaiski. Tässä on kuhtissa kanaa. Eikä ne oo. Ekkistääks mä täällä? Mä ei piikani tukitupi. Mä ootsit enne. Tätskäätsit. Jaa, säkää ei kaatuna. Niin sitä piikin kovaa kohki. Kista. Kanaa. Semmoinen kutsista pipsi paikki. En kannasta tässä. Eukkaa. Etskää siitä. Kenen nahkasit? Anja.
Hän.